Surprise, we're back. It's game number 3, and we're into the lobby immediately. There we go. Collins on Hooktusk. He's had... Oh my goodness, this roll for Collins. Going to take over immediately here.
Yo! This is what I like to refer to as Hooktusk having a totally normal one. Just getting on with her business, sitting around, generating money, printing money, being stronger than everyone else in the lobby, while also being richer than everyone else in the lobby. This hero, Lorinda, is the only thing you can say.
I can't even say it. I left it for you to say. Jinbei on the free.
Sorry, this hero.
So...
There you go. You can say that.
Thanks, Sotto. Right. It's war. The war. We've got a whole new series coming up, and it's going to just be us being nasty to each other. Forget the Hearthstone. Right, I'm not going to forget the Hearthstone. I'm actually really enjoying this Battlegrounds competition. Let's try and get an overview of what is actually happening in this lobby. Thank you.
Yes, no, you know precisely. That is all that matters. Congratulations.
So there are elementals. I know I keep saying like that, like it's a surprise when there's favourite to be elementals in the lobby, but that just is not how it's been going over the last few days. Tyler on the Omu, an aggressive hero, obviously, if they're going to get anything out of this. I haven't mathed it, but let's go with if they come in the top 4 slots, they might have a chance. I don't think that's true, but let's go with it.
It's
not. But let's go with it. So, oh, you know about narrative, Sotto. Yeah, we can pretend we didn't know and keep everybody hooked in.
I believe in truth and purity and journalistic integrity, Lorinda. That's what I believe in.
All right, then. Well, that's me completely out of morals. I'm done. I believe in narratives and dinosaurs.
True. Yeah, that's fair. I believe in dinosaurs is a wonderful statement to make on a globally televised broadcast.
Okay, something we can talk about here, because we don't see it very often, is Zephyrus. This is a hero that has been played in multiple different ways, and you have to change it each meta. Is it worth going for fairly early triples? I'm talking 4s, possibly even 3s with Zephyrus in this weird tempo meta that we've got at the moment.
Yeah, I think so. I think generally with Zeph, you are right in that the way to play it has adapted through time, but the top-down idea of it has stayed relatively the same, which is use 1 or 2 of your hero powers to find a win condition, and then try and save the 3rd one for tripling something super greedy, right? Like, if dragons are in, Murazond is what a perfect target you can shoot for, because how many Battlegrounds games have you played where you bought one Murazond, rolled, found a second one, and gone, okay, I'm rolling my remaining 6 gold to look for another Murazond, right? And then not finding it, whereas Zephyrus can solve that problem immediately. And I think with that in mind, the idea of just tripling into a 4-drop, finding a light spawn, and then using another hero power down the line to triple that light spawn when you inevitably find a second one is a pretty solid way to set up. But it should be represented that Zephyrus is a pretty weak hero represented in the stats at the moment. You know, even lower than a lot of the heroes I've spent the last 2 days saying, like, this is a mid to low tier 2 hero, but very playable if you do want to pick it up as a pet hero. Zephyrus tends to be actually even a little bit lower than that at the moment.
Yeah, I think he's sunk down because, as you're seeing throughout all of these games, every hero, or every good hero, and there's plenty of them, has ways to make triples without spending 3 extra mana these days.
Yeah.
Or at least freeze a shop as you go and pick up things as you go. Zephyrus, you kind of have to buy awkward doubles for the sake of it a lot of the time. And that sometimes can mess you up quite horribly, as well as the fact it is very expensive.
This is super interesting, by the way. Slysssa on Shiny Curve as Cook. Not really something that I've seen done a great deal. She is going to get rewarded for it, as she is going to be picking up a pretty strong triple. But it's usually, we do see people going up a little bit more with Cook, looking for those higher tier discovers earlier on, going for more of a 3-on-3 curve instead.
I'm curious to see how that goes. Just, Tyler on the Omu, not messing about, full on everything. It's a beautiful Omu start for Tyler, where you do the whole level, token sell, buying things as you go up through the levels and get up there very, very quickly. It's a dream start for Tyler on that Omu. We're going to get to see Slyssa's next turn as well, which is good. See how she develops from here.
Jinbei gone all the way to 6. Picked himself up a doggy along the way. It is kind of a weird win condition for Gala in particular to take in this situation because Dog in particular, I probably shouldn't call Great Wolf Dog when there's actually Dog in the lobby, right?
I was thinking
probably
that's
a little
their
bit
only
confusing.
chance is a pack of signed Dog. Yeah.
Yes. So having you pick Galakrond, you have a 1 in 3 chance of hero powering any minion in your shop into Dog. Yes, most people will probably play that hero. But Great Wolf is kind of a weird pickup for Galakrond because generally you want scalers where you don't really care about the fact that you're low tavern, because Gala does tend to be low tavern for a lot longer than most other heroes. So for example, if you find a Nomi or a Light Spawn, you can still get those LEs and cycle through those LEs and they still get big stats even though you are on lower tiers, whereas Great Wolf tends to want specifically Parrot and Hydra and so on and so forth to go with it and complete that comp, which does leave you quite weak for quite some time as you then push up those tavern tiers looking for those pieces.
Yeah, I feel like this is the pick made in desperation of the match state again. If they're going to play this lobby, which it appears they are doing because they're playing it,
yes.
APAC have got to go with the view we've got to come first, second, third and fourth and then hope for bonus points awarded by the invites for clean sweep or something.
America's retroactively confessed that they've had streamer mode off for the entire tournament.
Right, so if you're going to play it, you've got to play it under those conditions and try and get the top 4. So just aggressively going for anything that might work seems to be the play there.
Yep. That is... those are not 4 drops on the right-hand side. Those are barely 5 drops on the left-hand side. Bill is looking for a hero power target here and has not definitively found one. Like, you have to be able to hero power something as Reno and look yourself in the mirror the next morning. If you can't do that, then concede is usually a better option. And these minions are pretty borderline for being able to do that.
It's always Baron. When they're garbage, Golden Baron's always the way forward. He's got it.
He's not there. Yeah, you see the shake of the head. He knows. He has to look himself in the mirror as a man that hero powered a Baron with 0 death rattles on his board. And I don't think he can do it.
He'll do it. I'm telling you. He's going to do it. He's going to not look in the mirror. He's going to wait until the next game and then forget it happened.
Seriously, I don't think you do it this turn, though. Because turning your 1-7 into a 2-14, does that win you a fight that you were going to lose? Like, probably not, right? So I would imagine you just wait 1 turn and just see if you can hit something better. Because you have 2 other pairs on your board as well, right? Like, it's not like you're completely desperation mode in terms of trying to find something.
Had a board of 2 2s that a 2-14 could have wiped out.
It turns out his 2-14 was a murder stick this turn if he'd have actually gone with it. Yeah.
But I do agree, like in hindsight, you do get 1 more turn to have a look through, but then you do have to, I think, hero power. Assuming he picks up a death rattle of any consequence on this next turn.
Nothing there. He's moved the Soul Jugglers, which is always a indication that he's at least considering the options. Continues to be nothing. He does find death rattles, but they're death rattles that are absolute garbage to go in that Baron. But more importantly, he finds the triple on the Tabby Cat and gets to find something that he can golden with a bit more self-respect, like a Chef Nomi. However,
I guess he's got to consider the croc with all those.
He did get a pale scale, yeah, which is an interesting option, right? Now, while he's thinking about that,
watching Bill. Yeah, let's go to you, Joy.
What's been going on the other side? Because there's still some hero powers remaining for Yunjoy here. She has picked up a triple port 2, and she does have an Azul with a couple of demons in the shop as well that she can look to power out on. She is all the way down on Tavern 4 though, which is going to make that idea of using a Zephyrus triple to actually make a big win condition quite difficult, because she's still somewhere away from getting those levels in still.
Bill's final board here does look like it's not going to hurt him too much over this turn. It's a very wonky, wobbly board, but it's full of numbers. That's good.
Are you aware who this Gallywix is, though?
Oh, it's Collins? No, I'm not aware.
It's Dog.
Oh, okay.
And it's Dog, and he's winning the lobby as a Gallywix. So I fear what. Oh my. Okay. What on? How is that winning the lobby? Hello. What is your matchup RNG this round, Dog? Hello.
I mean, to be fair, we haven't seen anybody with a dominating board of any sort, really. Everybody's been in this sort of scrambling to find things mode.
I suppose that's fair.
You know, we've got a golden doggo on the right-hand side from Jinbei. We've got almost hero powering a Baron that turned into a Nomi that turned into some numbers over here. Yeah, I think everyone's just got scramble mode on, which might favour Bill if they're all scrambling around trying to get a comp together. He can just build up elementals rapidly. Yeah, this might be over for Bill.
Oh, Jinbei though is piecing it together. As I was describing, you do want to find very, very specific pieces to go with Great Wolf. He has found 2 of those very specific pieces already with the Macaws, and he's now found his way to another triple and nails the Baron. First rip, which means he is already astronomically strong. Picking up just a sewer rat to remain strong for quite some time here. He's going to switch his wolf to going first because he's recognizing now in this spot he doesn't need, a buttload of parrot value to actually be powerful in this position. He can just fill his board out with some beasts temporarily, push himself up through the levels, and then he can sell out these death rattles at a later date to isolate the Macaw and the Great Wolf interaction.
Yeah, I'd love to see it because he took the gamble on turn 5 or whatever it was just to go for this, and sometimes it doesn't work out, but again, match state says you might as well, and so it's a good chance working out for him. He's got plenty of rolls left. He will have to spend some time getting to the tavern 6, I think, to try and look for golden pieces, but that's fine.
For Jinbei you're talking about?
Yeah.
He doesn't necessarily though, right? Because he is Galakrond. He can, quote, discover a 6-drop every single turn by being on Tavern 5 and just shooting something away. So he might be able to chill on 5 and just shoot for those extra walls with the hero power.
I'd totally forgotten there was a Flurgle in this lobby. I don't even remember who was on it. I think we got into the game a bit of a quick fashion, sort of missed the picks, but this looks like quite a decent start for the Flurgle.
It's not bad, yeah. It's not quite going to be competitive enough with the board state that Jinbei has, I believe, because of the size of that remaining hyena, and because the SI Sephin was sniped out early, which is the far more criminal thing. DeLonge not only loses the fight, but she'd be willing to lose that fight in exchange for a couple of poison minions, but because the snipe happened early, she's not even getting that.
Enjoy. Okay, going to use the Mama Bear. She kept a lot of options open going into this turn, but she just looks like she's going maximum tempo because no really good use for this hero power at the moment. She's trying to generate minions like Mama Bear that could give her a good use for this hero power. Possibly the 3rd use, given on how the board looks with the 2 goldens already there.
That is the mother of all rats. If she does want to go for it, probably on the next turn, right? She can get 2 Mama buffed rats on board and then hero power to then replay the rat again with the Mama.
Shame there's not like 19 spaces or something on the board to develop 19 rats. Always think it's a shame. I don't, because it would take so long for the fight when it splits into 19 1-1s that all get murdered by Collins' 200 dragon or something.
Dude, imagine the leapfrogger meta if there was infinite board space for rats.
Oh my! Fights would take a quarter of an hour. We can play them during
everyone's processor just actually catches fire as soon as there's a rat pack involved.
Colin's about to triple a light spawn. Oh, he already has. He's about to triple another one.
What did you think was happening? All 3 of them are in his hand already. Like,
I'm already halfway through EU versus China. Coming up in just a moment.
Slysssa on Cook, going for a little bit of a Mimi build here. Does have the synergy between the parrots, the dragon, and the what's the missing tribe in that situation? Demon, sorry, yeah, they're going down, but without specifically a Taragosa, it doesn't really do anything, and even then, without your hero being specifically Vol'jin, it's actually very hard to turn that into any kind of winning position. So Slysssa looks like she is going to go down, unfortunately, in 8th place yet again here. She is going to go down at the hands of her teammate Collins, but as we keep mentioning, okay, she goes down in 7th, essentially, tied for 6th, 7th, 8th, as all of those players do.
And that was Tyler in 8th, who had a pretty good start on the Omu, right? Is that this game?
Yes, no, it was this game, yeah.
So, didn't find anything or leveled aggressively to try and get lucky and didn't. That's probably more likely. As long as being offered things that are nothing to do with anything she's trying to do. So, picks up the Baron to match that Selfless for, hopefully for her, for much later use than right now.
Okay, that's the one that you want to hit and keep on hitting. Yep, that's very nice as well. Things are going great if you're a DeLonghi fan. Gets her gold back.
Did you maybe make any progress? Yes, he found a taunt, which isn't the hardest part of the equation that he needed. Also picked up the Hydra, wasn't there previously, right?
Yes, no, I believe so. I've been focused more on the left-hand side. Slight ordering mistake, I think, there. Okay, she is holding onto the Cold Light Seer in hand, which means what she did was not strictly wrong, because if she wants to preserve that gold for the next turn, that's fine. But obviously there was some Swolfin stats potentially left on the table there as well.
Colin's going to be actually quite happy to see some of this poison, I should think. Otherwise he was going to be too big and wouldn't have killed anything to progress his elementals.
Yes. Avenge elementals, the very definition of first world problems.
Oh, Jinbei nearly dies to that.
I mean, shout-outs to Bird Person yet again. Like, it's so much tempo in the early game. It can defend your health for so long. We saw how strong the Gala is actually building into, but just that extra immediate tempo that you get from Bird Buddy was just such a big deal in that fight as well.
So how does Collins actually go about this? Because, okay, that's nice. It's a huge minion. You take it. Sure. Next question, Neil. But yeah, how does he get any scaling? How does he get much more going on here? Yeah.
Lorinda. He's doing the thing. He's got a bat in his hand.
Oh, I'm happy now. Cool. I didn't see the bat. The thing we were talking about yesterday, which is where you get double Felbat, you leave just the elementals in the shop and it eats them. And he's got the second one. This is perfect.
And he has a Hamul. He has a Hamul, so he can put demons on the board and roll into a guaranteed shop of giant elementals to be able to munch them down. That's insane.
So, will he just freeze the shop forever when he does that? Until they've all been eaten?
Oh! Urzel! Urzel Gummidge.
This is going to be monstrous, ladies and gentlemen.
He hero powered the Hamul into an Urzel. That's so disgusting. So to answer your question, is he going to freeze this? No! He doesn't need to! He just gets to munch the whole thing in a single turn.
It's just my favourite play in the current meta. Just a double Felbat 5 big elemental thing, and having the extra, having the demon taunt is also just even funnier. And I'm glad he's doing it. I'm glad it's you that spotted it, because we were saying it's a rare event to actually see it come off. Well, we've seen it now in the tour.
It is a rare event, and all the Bird Person in the world is not going to get you through this one. Zephyrus fought away valiantly, but this is looking like a very Collins-focused lobby from this point. Does have to pay attention to the fact that there is poison scam in the lobby. Whenever you see Flurgle doing well and continuing to be alive at this point, you need to plan for poison scam. Collins is currently incredibly weak to poison scam, not even just a little bit weak. No divine shields. He's converting his elementals into demons, which are even less likely to be divine shields than the elementals. Right. So he is weakening himself significantly to that poison scam situation.
Poison scam aside, as you can see, it is going to matter, but this does explain a bit more about this Felbat build, because yesterday we were saying that it's often done just as a show-off, look what I can do, but actually it does come about at the point where you run out of scaling, we've seen here. The question I was trying to ask at the point where you noticed what was going on was, how do you keep scaling? And actually, you just don't until you switch into the Felbats here.
Yeah, usually when you're at this point, it's kind of what I was talking about earlier, right? Where you will try and triple your existing elementals so that you can consolidate those stats into one and open up another board space for another massive elemental. And you'll be looking to replace sub-premium elementals with premium elementals, right? Get Recycling Wrath off your board, replace it with a Cyclone. Get this party elemental that you have for no reason off your board, replace it with a Wildfire, that kind of thing. But you're absolutely right in that switching into the demons does create a much better scenario for you. But you do kind of need those Hamul situations to really make something guaranteed happen. Otherwise, you're in a spot like this where you are just praying a little bit. See one giant elemental getting stuck in the shop. Collins rolls his head back a little bit upset about it.
Yeah, and he's slow on his Divine Shields. He's got the key fight coming up very soon, and he only has the one Selfless.
Okay, that's a huge hit for Collins. The first Wildfire was nice because it cleared up both of the remaining high attack minions, but the second Wildfire hit in the perfect spot if you're a Collins fan, which meant that it did not do a significant amount of damage to the rest of the board and enabled the tie.
Galongi on the Flurgle. Got the poison going nicely, gets into that top 3.
Yeah, picks up the kill on the Galakrond. No, all good. Little bit surprising with how quickly the Gala did manage to pick up the parrots and everything to go with that beast build, that it is just going to be a 4th place, but then you look around at the power level of what's going on with everyone else right now, and it starts to become a bit apparent that, there are the alpha builds in this game, and then there are beasts, which unless you hit the absolute nuts is not quite getting there. Somewhat ironic, I suppose, saying that the build that involves the actual wolf is not the alpha build, but that research was debunked anyway, by the way, for those people that don't know that. The whole idea of alpha pack leaders in wolf packs was debunked by the person who noticed it in the first place.
Well, they debunked their own research?
Yes, they retracted it essentially and said that's nonsense. That behaviour I observed was actually something completely different.
That's exactly what RDU did on Diablo recently.
Nice.
Right, so Collins once again sort of trusting to the fates, but he has got that Amalgadon, which is doing the best of both worlds, right? It's now a demon that eats things, and it's an elemental who's big to start with.
Yeah, and now Collins has switched into some Poison and Divine Shield of his own to be able to support this, which is absolutely the correct decision. Nails the Divine Shield on the interval. It didn't really matter where it went, just that it went in a position where a poison attacked into it. So the best way for that to happen is for it to just land on the Taunt at the start of the game. But as it stands, she's still going to find her way out of this. One little 4/6 Murloc boy against the world is going to get her out of that fight with her skin intact.
And is she favoured for this lobby now? Is it likely that one of the other 2 players actually picks up enough to deal with it? Bill might be in a better place than Collins with those 2 Divine Shield minions. Even though they're smaller, you can see that 62 against those sort of numbers, he's going to outscale the Murlocs. He's going to have more attack than they've got defense, most likely, and should be able to trade 1 for 2 at some point.
Yeah, and the big deal is the Golden Wildfire as well, right? If that hits correctly, then that can kill 3 poison minions in a single attack if it gets the job done, cleaving left and right. Essentially, it is a full-blown cleave minion at this point. Do think Collins has some game as well. He already had the Myexna and a Selfless on his board, so he can play for Golden Selfless and the Reborn Rattler at this point as well to try and match poisons and Divine Shields with DeLonghi as well. So I think DeLonghi might just be on borrowed time a little bit here because I believe she was slightly unfavoured going into that fight to begin with against Collins in the previous round as well.
Yeah, and she didn't hit with any of her attempts to discover things this round. She has built up their health quite a bit, but again, as you can see, nowhere near the large number that's going to be required to fend off this. As you said, if it turns out that it hits right, which it should.
It doesn't matter, but like I have such an obsession with make number go big. It's my favorite thing to do at all times. So I would have been in that position looking for a way to make my board elementals again as Collins, to then play the Hamul to roll back into elementals, to then eat them all up with the demons. But in the reality of actually playing for winning the game, stats don't matter at this point, right? Like, well, kind of.
They're mattering because the Murlocs are big enough health, right?
No, they matter because there's someone else in the lobby that is a golden Nomi player, right? Where that is actually going to be a straight up stats battle most of the time against your opponent. So in a way, the stats do actually matter to some extent, but Collins is just choosing, I think, to use his resources on trying to find a Felbat triple, on trying to find Reborn for the Myexner, trying to find more Divine Shields. Golden Amalgadon off the Seafood Slinger will do very nicely as well.
Yeah. Just watching all these minions savage their friends is great. Look at that, 245.
Woo! Oh my god, what do you even do? Takes another gold. Oh, he ate the other Amalgadon! There was another Amalgadon sat right next to that one, right? That just ended up getting eaten. That is unfortunate with the other Seafood Slinger. Also, unfortunate rolls on the Golden Amalgadon itself. No Divine Shield, no poison.
But he's against the Reno, so the 290 might actually be what he needs right now.
Alright, that's a golden lookout. This can also be more Amalgadons. He'll get 2 discovers from the lookout, finds himself Sephin instead, which is a good consolation. Is going to drop the Baron alongside this. So he essentially, he would hope that he has 4 poisonous minions here. I think he would be optimistic to think his 60 attack is poisonous, but he would hope that his 80 and his 133 are poisonous. Unfortunately, these minions are massive on the other side of the board.
I think he's
but
fine.
It still looks like he's absolutely getting there.
Yeah, and it's weird because you did the thing you told me not to do, which is actually that Amalgadon was, unless it got poison, was worse than this thing becoming 290 because it's just soloed the whole team.
Yeah. Yeah,
bam! Sure. Take 29. And now you just use the poison scan. Actually, he might not because he has got the Golden Selfless and the Baron, so...
Yeah, I think Golden Selfless Baron is probably giving him the edge here. As I was mentioning before, I believe he was favoured to begin with, even though he lost last time around, according to the tracker numbers that we saw on stream, and he has significantly improved his position against Poison Murlocs since then.
I think he's come second, first, or second, first, depending on the outcome of this as well.
Get rid of that Amalgadon for sure. Look for a Baron off the hero power. Doesn't find it. Pick up the Reborn Rattler. Reborn that Myexner. That is a crucial piece of the puzzle that DeLonge is missing on the other side, because you can make a golden, shiny, poisonous 500 Murloc all you want. When you get to this late game position, any Murloc loses to a Reborn Myexner. So any number of those that your opponent has are going to outclass your board state, and I think DeLonge not hitting those Reborn Myexners herself is going to be our undoing here in the final stages.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit difficult for her to picture exactly what she's up against. Well, she did play it 2 or 3 rounds ago, but she might be thinking that 136 health could still be relevant. And it could be there's a 133 attack minion on the other side, so it could actually be relevant. But
True.
She's not to know that Collins has found all of the stuff going. And now it's gone, and it's huge again.
89. Yeah, we take those. Pretty much 90% the way that Collins looks at it. Needs to land all these Divine Shields for sure. She did. One of those going on the Baron would probably spell disaster, but every single one of those hit a poison. None of them protected the taunt, which is a big deal, but now that 136 health minion that you were talking about has bitten the dust. I think that is now going to spell disaster, and that is going to be another fat dub for Collins as Americas take down the lobby again.
And if anyone thought that they weren't taking that seriously because they'd already won, that pop-off from Collins shows the competitive spirit of especially the American team, but of course all the people in this competition.
What does that mean?
Size matters, so people can check out what size they are by typing the command size. See if they're chonkers or dinkers or average or growers or showers.